at your end?
Yes, sir. It's visual.
Okay. So today we have one part of research tells that whenever we introduce some methodology which is not applied in the field but might have been applied in some other field, such a methodology when we introduce in another field, then it itself becomes a research. It itself becomes an original piece of work. Suppose you are using some existing tools for solving your research problem, so that will pass only through the merit of your work, because the methodology has nothing to do, because it has been used by n number of people for solving such problems. And often a question is asked that what is the uniqueness of in your study? Okay, you have studied a particular bank or a financial organization using all the statistical tools that, or the methodological tools that has been used by other people. Just the difference is that you have taken up maybe a new organization which has not been debated or discussed in other literary or research forums. In that case, that is not of much value for a researcher. That is just another financial institution on discussion. Well, that is a good discussion, but definitely not a good research. But whenever you apply some new technique, maybe the technique is age-old in some other area, but no one has used it in that particular area on which you are focusing, then the study itself gets its value. And definitely there is a contribution from the end of the researcher towards the main body of the knowledge, and that brings value into it. Today we will be discussing of one such aspect, and believe me, this is very simple aspect, because some statistical software like SPSS will be discussing, with the help of which you can apply survival analysis or concepts of survival analysis in behavioral finance. I have for the say last 1.5 years thinking about this, that there are some aspects of behavioral finance where we can use the concept of survival analysis, but I have not yet developed into a paper, not because it is difficult, but because I did not have time or did not have appropriate data. But I feel that there is a huge opportunity for any of you to pick up that area and write a paper in just a period of very small period of time. You can write a paper, submit it some journal. I ensure you it will give you a good publication. You can get it done, get it published in a good journal with high impact factor, because this methodology has never been used in behavioral finance. The concept of survival analysis has never been used in the area of behavioral finance, at least to the best of my search, because though I did not write the paper on that, but I have searched over the years, last say 1 year, about application of survival analysis and behavioral finance, and the good news is that there is no such application of survival analysis in behavioral finance. But the idea clicked in my mind, which is yet to be executed, and I want some of you at least come forward and execute it and get good published, get the thing published, and you will find that in my below my name, my email ID is also there. So you may write me a mail after your work get published that your idea really worked. I will be happiest man on that day. Okay, now let us go to survival analysis. In the process of my lecture, I will take a break after every 5 or 7 minutes, and I will take feedback from you. If you have some questions, you can ask me. So at this stage also, we are into 5 minutes of the lecture. So I ask, I open the session for any questions if you have on this topic, which is yet to start. Okay, it seems there is no question. So let us proceed with the presentation. Let us start with the problem. Insurance in our country, as you know, is not purchased, rather it is sold. At the very happy day in your life, when you get married or when you become father or means parent, a person comes to you and tells all odd things about this. You may think that he must be your enemy. No, not your enemy. Some people I ask, they are telling that, oh, my must be the relative. No, not relatives. That is the insurance agent. Insurance agent, suppose you are getting married, insurance agent will come and tell you that, अच्छा शादी तो कर लिया, बीवी तो खूबसूरत है, पर कल मर जाओगे तो क्या होगा? तो तुमको बड़ा खराब लगेगा, because I think everyone understands Hindi. Anyone who doesn't want to listen to Hindi?
We are fine. You can continue with
Yeah.
English. Yes.
We are comfortable.
All are comfortable with Hindi?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And some place I give online lecture, then some people tell that no, we don't understand Hindi. Anyways, so basically I will use some words in between. Otherwise it will be in English only. Anyways, so actually what happens that person gets insured because you know insurance is not purchased in our country, it is sold. So in Western countries, people have to stand in queues to get themselves insured. Now online facilities are available anyways, so that is the call from the individuals. But here it is the reverse. The insurance agents, or they call advisor, they come, they advise you to take up some insurance policies, explain to you why insurance policies are required, and then you get insured. Anyway, so insured, you get insured when you are supposed to pay premium. Some premiums are one-time premium, some premiums are annually, some premiums are given quarterly, some premiums half yearly, etc. But let us take an example of an annual premium. So a person gets insured in 2012, he pays the premium. In 2013, he pays the premium. In 2014 also he pays the premium, and so also in 2015. But 2016 he does not pay the premium. 2017 he does not pay the premium. So at some point of time, the payment of premium stops, and then either his benefit that he's expected to get at the end of his completion of time period probably will not be there, or might be some limited benefits. So this is a not good thing, not only for the person who is investing, but also from the end of the insuring organization, because they want everyone to complete their insurance premiums and then claim whatever has been promised to them. This going away from paying the premium, some notices come obviously from some of the organizations. They are very aggressive. You don't pay a premium. I have a premium with ICICI Prudential. I found that even if I get delayed due to 2-3 days, they keep on calling. So why don't you activate auto debit? So we'll get it. You don't have to remember all these things. And before premium also, they send so many emails. Some are quite aggressive, but some are not. But after all, premium has to be paid by you. You may ignore those calls and the emails and actually not pay the premium as well. So this means as a insurance as an insurer, I call it a type of death. That means I am in the process, but at a certain stage I stop paying premium, and for the time being, let us call it a death of the insurer. Here, death does not mean the literal death, but death here means discontinuation. I take up another example. These days there is quite a trend that people are actually investing money in share market through different ways. Some people do direct trade through online, some people through some agencies, through opening Demat account, and several other ways in people do marketing. So let us take a example of Srimati ji, who actually joined a particular share market, and she invested first time on 17 January 2020, and then the next she made another transaction on 24th January. Then she continues and makes another on 27 January. So seems to be quite regular visitor of share markets. And then she also meets on 23rd February. And we are keeping an eye on him. 19th February, I visited and tried to find out whether she is still continuing her transactions in the share market. But I found that she is not doing so. I looked after a month, over like 17th March, I found that she has not done any transaction in between. And then at the end of a significant period of 3-4 months in between, I once again checked, finding that she is yet to make any type of transaction. So Srimati ji started investing in share market at a particular time, but at the end of a particular period, she is not there in the system at all. Another type of death as this time as a investor in share market. These type of things are quite frequent in the concept of insurance or in case of share market. You can extend it further also. Here I have come up with 2 examples, but I can give you another, that I can extend it further, like using different types of financial apps, like say e-wallet. So maybe that I was satisfied with Paytm, but at some point of time I had some problems in handling Paytm. So I asked my friend, he suggested that why don't you go to GPay? So I installed Google Pay, and now I am making all transactions to Google Pay and not using this one, Paytm, which I was used earlier. So my death has taken place so far as Paytm is concerned. I'm using the word death, don't get scared about it. Here, death means discontinuation of either a particular financial product which you are supposed to continue, or in a particular maybe financial app, or even if you forget the app, there may be something which you do e-commerce. For example, I used to order medicine through NetMed. So I used to order, and this was going on fine, but during the Corona period, I found that there was a lot of difficulty in receiving the medicines, and there at that time you were more in need of the medicines. But these medicines were promised, but they were not delivered. They got delayed after means a significant period, not only 1 to 3 days, but 1 to 3 weeks. And so I decided that let me withdraw my transaction with NetMed, and I downloaded some other app, or some other shop has come up in my town which is providing home delivery and also providing me about 20 to 25% discount. So I am happy with them. So my discontinuation with NetMed has taken place. In this terminology, you can consider it a death, or maybe death you are very scared. If you are, then I may use another term that the event has occurred. The event has occurred. Here, event means withdrawal from the particular app, or withdrawal from the financial product or insurance product that I am consuming. So this is the problem that we have. We want to find out that something more details about why the withdrawal is taking place, or is the withdrawal more appropriate for a particular app? That means if I am using Paytm, I will continue for longer time than if I use PaisaPay. That means I want to compare between the apps or different financial products where the event takes place at a later date. That means that is more significant, that is that particular app or that particular financial product is more reliable, and it can hold its customers for long time compared to the other. So this is the problem I am trying to address. So I have introduced the problem. Any questions at this stage, please come up. हाँ रंजीत, सुनाई तो दे रहा है ना?
यस सर
ठीक है, अच्छा चल रहा है कि तुमको समझ में आ रहा है?
मुझे आ रहा है सर।
अच्छा ठीक है, तो तुमको आ जाएगा तो इनको भी आ जाएगा। ये तो हमसे बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है हम लोग तो बस। Okay, so let us proceed to the next one. So we need to define discontinuation, or the event of which we are talking place. In death, physical death, it is quite understandable what is death. You can no need to explain. Understand death. पल्स नहीं चल रहा है, दिल नहीं धड़क रहा है, सांस नहीं चल रहा है, बस हो गया death. But in this type of financial products, when we speak about the event, we should be very specific. That what do you mean by discontinuation? So sometimes what happens that let us have some definition. You may change it as per your understanding or as per your use. Let us take that a person who has not made any transaction, sale or purchase of share for a period of 6 months, say you may make it 3 months, you may take it 1 year also. That means a person in this study, how we proceed, that if a person, because we are focusing basically on demat account. So yesterday you must have heard a resource person called Jayashree Bhattacharya, who actually means वही वो डीमेट अकाउंट ऐसा बेचती है, तो हम लोगों से सबसे खरीदवा लिया, रंजीत से भी, हमसे भी खरीदवा लिया. Now what happens, we are continuing, occasionally she reminds us that your share has come, you can, okay, there is a nice share, you can do this, it will give you more profit. So we sometimes invest, and then after some times, if I do not make a transaction, either purchase or sale of share corresponding to my demat account for a period of 6 years, for a period of 6 months, then the event has taken place. That is event of withdrawal or event of discontinuation has taken place in that share market. So she may consider me as a dead customer in that particular demat account. So that is how we have defined that for this instance. You can change it as per your study. If you study on insurance, then you may tell that, okay, who has not paid the last two premiums have not been paid, that person is considered to be have withdrawn from that particular premium which he is undergoing, or premium which he has purchased. The definition is flexible and can be redefined given the purpose and type of the study. So this I have already discussed. Example, insurer who has not paid the last three premiums, say, this is just an example. So now what might be the interest of the researcher? Okay, there are many people who start investing, then withdraw, both in case of insurance or in share market or in using of some financial apps, etc. There might be many people who start and do not continue. Even like those OTT, sometimes we download, then we watch, after some time we don't like or don't have time, so we discontinue. So that also you can take this study to that area as well. Okay, I am just telling you different options where you can apply this. Now it is very important to know at this end of the slide, I will ask you that whether you are finding any difficulty in understanding the problem. If the difficulty is there, please ask me. I want to do justice to my presentation, because Ranjit told yesterday that he will deliver food also. He has ordered something in Swaggy, so it will be delivered at my home also. So I need to do justice to that food as well. So what is the average time? What is the interest of the researcher? Researcher interest is to know that what is the average time for the continuation of a customer in that particular insurance policy, or in that particular demat account, or in that particular financial app, etc. What is the average time? Now you must be thinking that average time, so it is very easy to compute the average time, because we know that when a particular person was active. So just to take a simple average of that, you must be thinking like that. But it is not so easy. So why it is not so easy? That dhire dhire ye bhi khulega. So let us hold it that it is not so easy. Let us proceed with this. Why not so easy? I will tell at later point of time. Is the time of discontinuation influenced by any of the following? Here we take some demographic features like age. Now sometimes some people they insure and then they may continue, may not continue. This may be related to their age, maybe, may not be also, but we can check it out whether age has a significant role in the discontinuation or the time for which the person remains active in the share market or in the policy. Is it the income? Income is supposed to be, without understanding, without doing any literature review, I can understand that income will be something significant related to this, because if I don't have income, how will I pay the premium? If I don't have income, how will I invest in share market? If I don't have income, is it really app is necessary for me? It's a profession. Is it the profession? Suppose a teacher of commerce might be more inclined to invest money in share market, but that not so much maybe for a teacher of history. He may not find, he may be scared also that I may lose all my money. Profession, gender, whether it's gender has something to do with this. Is it the qualification, that whether qualification helps him to understand things better? Is it like that? Is the trading method? There might be different methods of trading. Some may open a demat account and start trading. Some may start trading through different online mode. There might be some traditional channels of trading as well. Some modern methods may have also come up of trading, where people can trade through different financial apps like Upstocks and etc. we have seen in the TV. So these are the different factors which we may compare, and we may find out that which of these factors or more factors, which of these are responsible for my continuation in the share market. So these we may actually study. Okay. So also we cannot continue the study for long. This is very interesting point. For example, I am doing a research work, say on how long people stay in the share market, or how long the people actually retain in a particular app, or how long a particular person becomes active customer in share market trading. But we cannot study it for a large time. That means from say for 20 years I will continue the study. No. At best 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. So that period I can continue because I need to complete my study now. At some stage I need to settle down that let me write the paper now. I have got sufficient data. It means at some stage suddenly I may stop. So even suppose I am a share market, I am investing money in share market. I am investing regularly, almost every 2 or 3 weeks. I am either selling or purchasing the share, and you are watching me for some time. But at the end of 2024, 31st December, you tell that okay, enough is enough. Now let me write my paper. That means till then I am continuing. So you don't know at what time I will stop. I may stop sometime afterwards, but you don't know sometime the time in which I may stop. That means you don't have complete information about me. Suppose Ranjit sir is there who has been investing money, but in 28th April he suffered lot of losses in share market. Bhagwan kare ki aisa na ho, and then he decides that let me withdraw from all this share market trading. So he withdraws. So it is known that he has faced the event. Your event means withdraw. Face the event. But for me, I am continuing, and you are in a position that you need to end the study, and so you don't know at what stage I will end up. So you have some information about me, but this is called not having complete information. Not having complete information. Okay, at this stage, let me invite some questions. I think many questions might be coming to your mind. Ranjit.
Sir, there is a question. Sir, there is a question in the chat box by
yes.
Madam Preeti.
Okay.
Question is: can a person be influenced by some biases?
Can a person be influenced with some biases? Obviously, he may be influenced. But if you can name the bias, we can include it in our model also. That we can find out that whether these biases are influencing him. Like say some event has taken place. There is a sudden what is that called, crash in the share market. So that particular, you may get biased, the person may get scared that my money may go down. And so this is called as event analysis. So a event has taken place, what is the impact on behavioral finance? For those studies are there, but this methodology is little bit different, discontinuation, and we can compare that why this discontinuation has taken place. Bias, obviously, if you can quantify that bias, then we can include it in the model. That means what is the extent of bias or how you are going to define your bias. So that if you can define properly, we can include that in the model. I think there is another question also, Ranjit, in the chat box.
And there is no question, but Madam Lina has just raised her hand. So Madam,
okay,
just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Yes. Good morning.
Madam.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Madam, you are audible.
Yes, yes. So if you take the example of this OTT platform, which you said, where we can do the survival analysis. However, in OTT, we have to make the payment first. And then after that, whether we consume it or not, I mean, as a researcher, or say from the company's perspective, whether it is Netflix or any other OTT platform, how will this survival analysis actually help them? Because they have got the money in. So after that, whether the consumer consumes it or not, watches content on the platform or not, how would it matter to them?
Ranjit, can you please repeat the question, highlight of the question?
Ma'am's question is about OTT platform.
Okay.
And Madam is asking that in OTT, first we have to pay the money and after that we are using it. But the question is how a researcher will get to know that whether a person is consuming the benefits of that OTT or not consuming. Yes, I have paid the subscription fees of OTT, any of the platform, and then whether I'm using it or not, how that data will be available.
Okay, that data is available by asking
madam?
that individual.
Is that your question, madam?
Partially yes, but then I also wanted to understand that when I have to make the payment in advance before I consume anything in the OTT platform. So, and I have made the payment, but I'm not watching any content. Okay, so let us take the example of Netflix. So if Netflix has to do a survival analysis of its customer base, how will it help them? Because for them, what they're interested in money, and they have got the money already in advance. So how this tool is useful, that is my query. Or what insight will it help to draw?
Okay.
Ranjit sir, could you
I got your question.
Yes.
This time it was audible. I could answer now.
Yeah.
The first thing is that, for example, Netflix, if depends on who is performing the survey. If I am or you are performing the survey, then you have to meet a number of people who are using Netflix and ask them that whether you have paid in Netflix, purchased a subscription, what is the last date of subscription, are you a regular visitor of Netflix, etc. If Netflix wants to get the survey, they will have the data because they know that who is accessing and for how much time, that they have all the analytics data, when the subscription was paid, how much time it was watched, and then what was the last date in which it was watched, and then after some date the person needs to subscribe once again. Now the person who is not watching, it is expected that he will stop subscribing because there is no point you keep on paying the money and nobody is watching. So that will not, that means only a fool will do that. They will keep on paying the money and not watch. So at some stage subscription will stop. As soon as subscription stops, that is the time in which the death takes place, death of the customers takes place. Okay. Another way is that suppose Netflix wants to end their study on 30th June 2022. So there are people who might have subscribed once again or renewed their subscription the previous day or even at that day. So that particular customer is still continuing. So no issues with that. Some people might have stopped subscription and that will be considered as the death of the customer. Now when actually they will apply the survival analysis will tell them that which factors are more responsible or significant for withdrawal of the subscription. So they may find that gender is one of the important factors which leads to withdrawal of subscription. Then look at the data. They will understand if gender is significant, then there are two genders. Obviously there are three genders, but that number, the third number is very less. So we may concentrate on two genders, male and female. If they find that the subscription withdrawal from subscription rate is more in male significantly than the females, they understand that male are withdrawing from their system, subscribing and then staying for some time and then withdrawing from their system. Now they will start creating content for male, specifically for male. They may conduct a further survey that males, what do you want to watch? Why you are not watching Netflix? What do you want to watch more? Whether there, some people may tell that there is very less content on Netflix on sports, which Hotstar has. So I am withdrawing for Netflix because there is almost no sports content in Netflix. So that's why I am withdrawing and I am now settling down with Hotstar. Or I may tell that I don't have, or the person who is asked the question may tell that I don't have time to watch Netflix. So I have withdrawn the subscription. Now this is a very safe answer. Netflix cannot do if you tell that you don't have time. But if you tell about some contents, that contents are not updated, new films which are coming are not there in Netflix, etc. If you give this type of reasoning, then they may start updating their product, and this is how they will actually modify the product, taking the requirement of the industry. Now suppose this is for gender, there is no significant difference. Withdrawal is taking place and gender has nothing to do, so no need to think about gender. But profession might have something to do. They must find that there are businessmen who are actually withdrawing from this profession wise. Few professions are there where a lot of withdrawals are taking place. So they may concentrate on those profession people's, conduct separate survey on them and try to find out that what is their requirement and why they are withdrawing. So this way this study can be a very successful one, even in withdrawal from OTT or when we consider survival analysis in OTT. So any other question, Ranjit, in between?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, I am a research scholar of Maulana Abul Kalam University of Technology, West Bengal. So
Okay.
I am working on a microfinance area. So, sir, I just want to know that there are some beneficiaries who are not continuing their activities, like the self-help group members. So, is that applicable, this concept of debt that you are talking about for
Yes,
them?
yes, exactly.
And
That means you already have the data of
Yes.
people who are withdrawing from the system.
Yes, I have primary data.
Yes,
So can, like, the survival analysis is applicable for them as well, right?
Okay, yes. I will ask you the same question at the end of the presentation.
Okay.
Okay, then you can
Okay, sir.
better answer me. Actually,
Okay, sir.
so as we are telling that we cannot continue our study for long. At some day, some stage, some point, we need to stop. When we stop, we may find that some people are still continuing. As Madam was asking that microfinance. That see, at some stage she will complete. She told me that she is also a research scholar. So at some stage she definitely needs to conclude her research, write her thesis, submit it for the award of PhD. So on that date, there will be still many people who are continuing with microfinance. Now, at what stage they may withdraw, that Madam cannot tell because she had to complete her study. So that actually leads to, most importantly, incomplete information about some of the individuals in the group so far as the event is concerned. Event here may be withdrawal from microfinance. In medical studies, they call it withdrawal from the system, that is either the person dies. Okay. Now, we need to study a group of individuals. So we start with a group of individuals. We start with a particular day, say 1st January 2019. I start my study. I find that who are the people who are in the system, and I study a particular thing which need to be used in a regular or irregular interval, like paying of premium, investing of share market. Investing of share market is irregular, paying of premium is regular. Then microfinance contribution, that will be, I think, regular. Then say withdrawal from an OTT. So subscriptions are being paid, which may be regular, but at some stage the person does not pay the subscription, means withdrawal has taken place. The study may range for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So this madam who was asking me the question about microfinance will definitely end her study at the end of 3 years. How to handle the cases, those are still continuing, but you also need to stop your study. How to find the time of their withdrawal or discontinuation. Now this is the problem. Otherwise I would have computed a simple average, perform some t-test and would be very happy. That okay, this male and female, they are significantly different in continuing in OTP, continuing in share market, etc., or not significantly different. Problem arises because some people information I don't have complete. So let us take some examples like this. Suppose I am studying microfinance cases. Let us take, madam has given me a clue, for a period of 60 months. This is the starting of my PhD time and this is the ending of my PhD time. My Mogambo, that is my supervisor, has already told me that okay, you need to complete your study at the end of 31st December 2022. So my Mogambo has told this. So since madam is from West Bengal, so I assume that our supervisor will be a Bengali fellow.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yes, madam. What is the name of your supervisor?
Dr. Shantanu Chakraborty. He is from St. Xavier's University, Kolkata.
Okay. Tell my regards to him.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. So Shantanu sir has told that you have to end your study in the 31st December 2022. Till that time you can collect that. So what madam has done? She has found one person whose name is A, who joined after a few months, not exactly on the date of her study period. And then after being in the system for 40 months, that person has withdrawn from the system. That means I know that this person was alive. Alive not means physical alive or literally alive. Here I mean alive in the microfinance this thing, for a time period of 40 months. Okay, fine. Then I have another case B. Actually, madam has another case B, who was there from prior to her starting the study, some prior date. That starting date I don't know. I'll take this as the starting date. The day on which I opened my notebook, that day is my starting date, and was in the system for 28 months. And then he or she withdrew from the system. These are two examples of complete observation. I know the entire age for which they were surviving in the system. Okay. I know another case C, which joined at the end of my study period. And then I ended the study, and I know in the last 10 months of the study that individual C joined, and at this stage he did not withdraw. He might be continued, but I have to end my study. Madam has to end her study. So this Shantanu sir told that, okay, both ho gaya data collection. Abhi aa jao re baba, she tells. So she comes, she has this much of data for this. And then another individual D is there, who was there in the system, but I will start counting from this point. And till 60 months he was there, and maybe he continue further, but I have to stop my study. So I had stopped my study here. Now, these are called as censoring. These are called as complete observations. A and B are complete observations. I know their ending date. My starting date will be here for this case, but for this case, starting date will be this orange line, 28 months. These two cases are examples of right censoring. That means I don't know at which day they end up. You may tell that no, they will continue lifelong. लाइफ पर डेथ भी करके, फिजिकल डेथ भी तो एक बात है. कभी मर गया तो कौन इन्वेस्ट करेगा? कोई और करेगा तो दूसरे नाम से करेगा ना. That stage we have stopped our study. So these are examples of censored observation. Otherwise, I would have computed the average very nicely, like 40 plus 28 plus 10 plus 60 and divide by 4 and get the average age in which a person, average time period for which a person remains in the microfinance or say insurance or say share market. I can find out very simply average. Problem is with these censoring cases, because I know their starting period, I don't know their end period, and you cannot tell that we can stop on 31st December 2022 and call it that okay, they are in the system till this date. Then we are in loss of information. We are actually making the person withdraw, jabardasti. We cannot do it. We don't have complete information. That's why we cannot tell that they have withdrawn after 10 months or they have withdrawn after 60 months. No, not at all. This makes our work little bit difficult. Okay. Where lies the difficulty? Otherwise, we would compute the average time of active participation. We could compare the average time of active participation across different gender and compare it with t-test, or if it is not normally distributed, then man witness U-test, which is a non-parametric test. We can compare if the age, numerical values of ages are available, not age groups, numerical values. Then we can compare correlation between age and time of withdrawal, and then we find out the correlation is significant or not. So that way I can do. But if there are age groups, then there will be various age groups like 18 to 25, 25 to 40, 40 to say 60, above 60, like these different age groups, and compare the averages. Since there are more than 2 groups, so we will go with ANOVA if the data is normally distributed, and non-parametric counterpart of ANOVA, Kraskell-Wallis test, if the data is not normally distributed. This is a non-parametric test. So this way we could have proceeded. By the time I assume that you have some idea about t-test, ANOVA, etc. We are not going in that area. But here what happens, the problem is because of censoring. Censoring takes place when we have some information about the survival of an individual, but do not know the exact survival time. Here survival means the time for which the person is in that particular business, insurance, share market, or something else. That means we have the starting survival, we know the survival time for those people who is died or actually taken away from the system, we know for that. That is, in my previous example, cases of A and B. Censoring takes place in case of C and D. So we cannot find out, or we shall not find out, or do not find out what is the issue with C and D. So that much is the difficulty that we have. Questions, please, if any.
Sir, I have a query.
Yes.
In the last previous example you have shown that if in case of A and B, after like particular time, if they again start to invest or keep their money, then
Again start, you have to define it properly, that what you should do, means when, at what stage you will consider its death. So that you have to define properly. So if whether it depends on whether you want to introduce the repeat appearances. Okay. If you want the repeat appearance, then you may consider it as a new person. Some significant time, like in share market, you give a significant time. That means within 3 months, if the person, or within 6 months, if the person does not make a comeback, then we'll consider that person to be died, and we will not consider any information from him subsequently. Now, if he joins later on, you may consider him as a different and a new observation. New observation you may consider, and you may consider him as a new individual. So that some adjustments in that type you need to make in the system. For example, maybe a person is not using a particular OTT for some time, then once again renews his subscription and start watching after some time. So this gap, there should be you should define a significant gap beyond which you will not consider. If within the time period the person comes back, then we'll assume that the person is still in the surviving mode. But if the time period lapses, no coming back in within that time period, then we'll consider that individual is gone. We'll delete him from the system. We'll not consider his information any further. So this type of adjustment you have to make little bit. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Now, this situation is similar to some medical studies. In some medical studies, this quite happens, and that is where survival analysis is used. So we are actually hiring that concept of survival analysis from medical studies here. What they do, for example, A started in the system for 40 months, he was there in the system. After that, A has died, or A have got cured of. Maybe he had cancer, so he was fighting with cancer this period. At the end of 40 months, either he has become cured of cancer, or the person has died. That means he has withdrawn from the system. Then suppose this person, before your start of study, he was there, but at the end of 28 months, he died, or he was cured. And another example, similar type of example, joined on the 50th month of the study, that is 10 months prior to the end of the study. Then sometimes this case happens like this, that okay, he has complete entire period the person was surviving, maybe fighting with cancer till the entire period, till the end of the period is continuing survival. So this is a censored observation, this is a censored observation, these two are complete observation. And this is another peculiar type of censored observation, like loss due to follow-up after 20 months. That means you are studying this patient, and then after 20 months you don't know where the patient has gone. You don't know whether the patient has died, whether the patient has is still surviving, no idea at all. This quite commonly happens in survival analysis, so far as patients are concerned. That is called as lost due to follow-up. Lost due to follow-up means to some stage you know the information, after that you don't know the information. जिससे दिल लगाया वो दिल्ली चली गई. So maybe the person is withdrawn, must have married somewhere, or might have. So in this case is less here in behavioral finance, because you will take the information from the particular agency, that whether the person is continuing in the system. But it is not unlikely also. That means if you are collecting information from the people by asking them, not contacting the organization, like say OTT, you are asking some people whether you are using Netflix, you are continuing asking, but someday you find that the person is not available. जिससे दिल लगाया वो दिल्ली चली गई. She was supposed to give you the information, but now she is in Delhi and you have lost all contact. So sometimes this may happen. Then we will continue that period till which we have information and then this also becomes a censored observation. This is also a right censored observation. So that is how we can actually take this up. And that particular aspect is called survival analysis in medical science. So little bit I have to adjust the behavior from medical science to behavioral finance. This has been done here. Ranjit, are you taking a video of this at your end?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then what you will do, you will give the video to the participants?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So survival analysis is the study of a time variable which indicates time to which an individual survived over some follow-up period. That means there is some follow-up period. Follow-up period is that time for which the study is being followed. That means that madam who was asking, whose supervisor, madam, what is your name? I could not see in the
Arpita.
Arpita. So Arpita madam, as she was telling that she will be studying till 31st December 2022. Say she started study in some period of 1st January 2020. So that is the follow-up period, 3 years follow-up period. The event generally considered is death or disease incidence to time to recovery from a disease. So that is what is done in medical science, that either death or the time of death, disease incidence, the time which disease started, and the time to recovery. So that is the time period for which is studied in case of medical science. Censoring takes place when we have partial information about the survival time of an individual, but do not know the exact survival time. Let us see how changes are made in behavioral finance. In the right side, you have behavioral finance. Here we can use it to analyze individuals who are active in a share trading, insurance plan, financial app, or say OTT over some follow-up period. That means Arpita madam is studying the same thing. Maybe like she is actually studying in this microfinance area for a particular study period, say from 1st January 2020 to 31st December 2022. The event here can be withdrawal from share trading, insurance plan, financial app. So she has already experienced, as she was telling, that many people, they start in microfinance and then at some stage they withdraw. So when they withdraw, we consider that the event has taken place. Event means here withdrawal from microfinance. Censoring take place when we have partial information about the customer's involvement in the trade, but do not know the exact time of withdrawal. That means she will find some people in the village who were there in the system, maybe started off late, not exactly on the date of her start of study, but till the end of her study period, that is 2022, 31st December, this person is still in the system and is continuing and continuing. So she doesn't know at what time he will end up. Some information is available about that individual, but the later part is not available. So now we are in a setup where we can launch survival analysis for behavioral finance. Okay. Now let us look at reasons of censoring. A person does not experience the event. Event means withdrawal from say microfinance before the end of the study. This may be one of the reasons of censoring. A person is lost to follow up during the study period, lost due to follow up. In some of the cases, mostly unlikely in this study. For example, in microfinance, she can find out who is not investing. It can be found out. But in OTT, it may not be found out directly. If some person does not provide us the information, Netflix will not give us the analytics. That's for sure. That is for their own use. So sometimes there may be loss due to follow-up in such studies, but chance is less, I feel.
It may so happen that this person has changed his broker.
Yeah, person have changed the broker, then we will consider that he has withdrawn the ties with the broker.
Yeah.
And his or her death has taken place with that particular broker.
Yes, sir. So in that case, we may not have information about that particular investor.
Later, the other part we don't require. He will be counted in some other app or some other broker. There he will take birth.
Okay.
मतलब डेथ वन प्लेस, जैसे हम लोग एक बार मर के फिर दूसरे जगह जाके जन्म ले लेते हैं, उसी तरह.
Okay.
तो ये एक डेथ माना जाएगा if he withdraws from a particular
service provider.
A person withdraws from the study due to reasons not related to the study. So the person suddenly withdraws. जैसे मान लो ऐसे I am contacting different people for their OTT experience, but one person जिससे दिल लगाया वो दिल्ली चली गई. So she went to Delhi, lost all information. So that is nothing to do with OTTs, but due to some other reason. Maybe she is married to Delhi. Some guy in Delhi, she is married, she went there. So that's why I am not getting the information. That means I have partial information, but the death has not taken place, that is for sure. But maybe she is using the OTT or may not be using the OTT. Till some period I have the information after that. So these are all actually censoring is taking place. Okay. Now let us introduce here one technical term, that is survival function. Survival function gives the probability that the person survives longer than a specified time t. This is written by ST. Nothing to be fearful about it. Those who are not in love with mathematics or statistics. So this is just a function which tells that what is the chance that a person will survive till time t. If the probability is high, that means he will have more chances of remaining in the system. If the probability is less, then there is less chance that the person will remain in the system at a particular time t. We will actually see it physically through a graph for the time being this. So initially the survival probability at time 0 is 1. That means time 0 is 1 probability means it is sure that the person joins the system when time is 0. तो उनको ही लिया जाएगा जो जिसके पास OTT है या जिसके पास शेयर मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. तो at time that those persons are have not withdrawn at time 0. If someone is withdrawn before time 0, he will not be considered. At time 0, he will not withdraw. And at time infinity, he will definitely withdraw. That means S infinity equal to 0. That means survival to infinity is impossible. Nobody can survive up to infinity. At some stage, if due to no other reason, at least for death, the person will actually withdraw. And hazard function is somewhat like the survival function, but survival gives the chance of survival. Hazard gives the chance of death. Instantaneous death, the chance of instantaneous death, and no need to remember it so much seriously. I tell you an example of instantaneous death. जैसे वो हमारे एक डीन हुआ करते थे, तो पहले रंजीत सर हम लोग एक साथ काम करते थे, तो वहाँ पे डीन है. आज दोनों का रास्ता, रंजीत सर का रास्ता, मेरा रास्ता अलग अलग है, पर एक समय था हम लोग एक साथ थे. So the dean was there, one professor was there. Now he was the dean of our dean, so we had good regards for him. And the previous night also at 8 p.m. I had a talk with him regarding some academic matters. He told that I will be little late tomorrow in the office. You please go and start the exam. I will catch up with you later on. Don't worry. I told that okay, no issues. I can do it. But at 2:30 that night he died. So in the morning there was a call from some of other my colleague that sir ka to Dean sir ka to death ho gaya. Now this is instantaneous death. Means few hours ago also we called, no issues, everything was perfect, no health issues. He used to do yoga, a lot of walking also. But at night there was a heart attack, and he died instantly. Instantaneous death. So that is the hazard. Means at a particular time, what is the chance of instantaneous death? If the instantaneous death is high, that means it is not a good thing. If the chance of instantaneous death is less, then it is good. But survival, it is reverse. So don't let us not confuse with two functions. Let us go on with survival function. It is survival function is a function which gives me the chance of death at a chance of survival at a particular time. If the chance of survival at a particular time is high, we are loving it. So that's all. Any questions relating to survival function, hazard function? Okay, good, no questions. So actually this is the survival function, this is the model, we call it survival function. This is the curve. That means at 0 at time the chance of survival is high. With the time it dhire comes down, and at a particular time it will be very close to 0, indicating that the chance of death means surviving is very less at this point of time. So survival function looks like this. This is the fitted survival curve, and this is the empirical one. That is from the data. When you actually draw it, it looks like this. But when you fit it to a curve, fit it to a model, then the survival, this staircase is smoothened up, and this. And in statistics, you believe me, we love our models. So this is our model. We love our. This model means not this type of model which you see, but our models are made out of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponential, logarithm, this type of models. So this is how we actually survival function looks like, but we will not go to the details of these technicalities. And then what is the purpose of survival analysis? Once again, let us have a look at this. To estimate and interpret survival or hazard function, survival function. Okay, let us forget hazard function, survival function. To compare survival functions for different groups. That means I can compare the survival function of, say, Netflix with the survival function of if we all of us if we all of us install Netflix and Hotstar, so which one has more chance of survival? That means which one will be continued by us for longer time. So those things can be compared for different groups. To access the relationship of explanatory variables to survival time, this comes the second part of the study. First we find whether the survival times are different or not. If it is different, we can go ahead and find out that which variable is influencing the survival time. Is it age, it is occupation, is it anything else like that? So for this we will actually have to go to a little bit next step of survival analysis, but today I will not visit this. I will just concentrate my focus on this because we have only 1 hour and 15 minutes to discuss all these things, so that's why. The probability for the event of interest should depend only on time. These are some assumptions. So actually the survival analysis can be performed only if these assumptions are going fine. That is the EH. है कि लड़का दारू पीता है कि नहीं, लड़का का साथ मतलब वो whether he is drug addicted or not, उसका इनकम तो सही है, उसका किसी और लड़की से तो रिश्ता नहीं है. अगर नहीं है, if these things are satisfied, if I am satisfied, then I marry my Sali or I marry my sister to that particular guy. As simple as that. Those are the assumptions. Now, if the assumptions are true, I marry my sister to that person. I am satisfied because the assumptions are true. So my sister and my brother-in-law's marital life will be at peace. But if the assumptions are violated, दारू तो पीता था, मुझे पता नहीं था, लड़की तो था जिंदगी में, मेरा इन्फॉर्मर सही इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं दिया, तो in that case my sister's married life will be hell. So that is the thing about assumptions. The assumptions have to be satisfied before we perform survival analysis. Okay, let us go forward. So here let us directly go, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं है हमारे पास, let us directly go to the system and do an experiment. A group of people are joining share market with an intention to sell and purchase shares. There are 3 channels of participating in the trade. ज़्यादा मुझे मालूम नहीं है इसके बारे में, तो हम ज़्यादा नहीं बोलेंगे. Say let us assume 3 channels. One is traditional method, one is an app-based modern method, and one is a local company which also providing suggestion to people who want to trade in share market. Give some suggestion. इसमें पैसा लगाओ तो अच्छा होगा. That type. So these are 3 methods. I want to compare this. किस method में हमको चलाना है? Whether I should go with the traditional method, whether I should go with the app-based method, or whether I should go with the local company. But for that I require some data. Okay. So researcher is now collecting the data because data is the lifeblood of statistics. Data nahi to kuch bhi nahi. So we want data. So we love 2 things. One is data, another is models. Okay. Model to kaisa model dikhaya apne? As a researcher has studied 39 traders for a period of 5 years. So the researcher has studied 39 respondents for a period of 5 years. So for 5 years means 60 months. The researcher terminated the experiment. Very good. The researcher has recorded the time in months for which the trader was active. That means we define an active transaction as at least 1 transaction in 6 months. The larger the value, the better it is. Obviously, I will want that my method is being followed by people for a large time. The researcher wants to compare the performance of different methods. So he wants to compare the performance of different methods. So I have a data set in SPSS. SPSS, I think all of you know about SPSS. It's a statistical package for social sciences, available at a very high priced software, which only institutes can afford to buy, but people somehow manage this and that from here and there and get hold of SPSS. I don't want to go to the details of that part. So in my data set, there are serial number, name of the patient, it should be name of the customers, and then gender, of the patient, not patient, it should be customers once again. 1 for male, 0 for female. A the customer. Let us make it customer. रंजीत मजा आ रहा है क्या?
Yes, sir.
तुमको मजा आएगा तो सबको मजा आएगा.
Yes, sir, truly.
So there are 3 trading methods. 1 for modern method, 2 for traditional method, 3 for alternative method. Age of the, once again, patient, it should be age of the customer in the last birthday, because we take integral values, that means whole numbers. It is not mandatory, you may take fractional also, but censored indicates if the survival time is censored or not. 1 for censored, 0 for complete information. That means if I terminate the study at some point when the person is still in the share market, then that is a censored observation. And maybe withdrawn also, sometimes people withdraw, that may be also a censored observation. And survival time provides the survival time of the trader, that is time till the respondent was active in trading. So, okay, so this much is my data set. These are only variables in my data set. Now there is a Kaplan-Meier procedure. This person Kaplan and his friend Meier, they developed a procedure when we can compute the average. I repeat, when I can compute the average when we have some censored and some complete information. You can look at the details of these. I think there is a book, a survival analysis. I have linked this book with my presentation. This is the book, Klimbaum and Klim. There you can find the 2nd chapter, survival analysis, Kaplan-Meier survival analysis. Very simple book. इतना simple book कि मेरे जैसे बेवकूफ को भी समझ में आ गया पढ़ने के बाद, तो तुमको तो आएगा ही आएगा. So you may download this book, or if I will send it to Ranjit sir for further distributing this book to all the participants. Survival analysis is self-learning text. इसमें ट्यूटर का कोई जरूरत नहीं है, सेल्फ लर्निंग है. इसको पढ़ो, खुद जान जाओ. और जब मेरा जैसा बेवकूफ आदमी को समझ में आ गया, so it will be very easy for you. Let me tell you. Okay, let us go to back to the presentation. Okay, so this Kaplan-Meier, he has developed a formula to calculate the averages when some information is censored, some information are complete. Now, this is my SPSS. So this is my file, this is censored, serial number, this is the name of the people, let's say hypothetical name de diya, this is gender, and this is the treatment. It is actually the channel through which they are sharing in the share market. And I told earlier in my previous slide that we are considering 3 methods is there. One is modern method, which is an app-based method like Upstock and all. One is the traditional method, which is the general process in which people purchase open demat account, do trading. And the other one is an alternative method. Actually, some local guy is there which is opened. He gives suggestions and all and help people to purchase shares. So that is an alternative method. So 3 methods. These are the ages of the respondent. This is the survival time, how many months they were in the system. So you see, this is the system, some of which are complete, some of which are censored. So complete is coded as 0, censored is coded as 1. So that is how we have censored this. Now use this. Now what I do, next step, let us look at this. We go to analyze, we go to survival, and we go to Kaplan-Meier. You see the flow. Analysis में click किया तो ये drop down menu मिला. Survival में click किया तो ये मिला. इसमें we'll click on Kaplan-Meier. So once we click on Kaplan-Meier, we get this survival time. This one is the survival time. So we click on it and then we click here. So survival time comes here. Now this one is important. Status, observation, this. Okay. Now you have to define that which is the event. Here censored is 1 and complete event is 0. So what I do, we click on define event and right here the value 0. We just type in the value 0 because 0 is our code. Be careful with the code. Whatever code you use for censored, that will not come here. Whatever code you used for a complete observation, that will come here. Our code was 0. So that much you have to do and then you continue. Okay. You see earlier it was question mark. Now censored is 0. I will also send you the SPSS data file. This data file which you picture you are seeing, that data file also I will show you and send you also. So I also have after sales service. Okay. Now factor, what are the factors? I want to compare the different treatments. That means different types of techniques, modern, advanced, alternative. So I click here and bring it here. So this is how. Now we go to compare factor. We click here, this comes. There are some tests. This test will compare and that whether the three techniques are same or they are different. So I click all of them. Log rank, breast low, thrown back. So what these methods, why they are doing the same test only. Same test. ये तीन मेथड का सर्वाइवल एक जैसा है, अलग अलग है. That is what they are doing. But there are different assumptions. So we tick all of them. You may read out later what are the assumptions. Now we go to continue. Continue. So these are some description about which is this by default pulled over strata. You keep that one active. What is the meaning of pulled over strata? What is the meaning of pairwise over strata? That information is given here. But if you simply speaking, keep this one active and then you click on continue. You come back here, then you click on options. Once you click on options, they are showing that they will show survival tables and mean and median survival. This is not required, but I require the survival curve. And I also may require hazard, not necessary. Survival curve and mean median, those two are important. Hazard तो भूल जाने से भी चलेगा. तुम मुझे भूल भी जाओ, ये हक है तुमको. So you can forget this survival. Then you click on continue. Okay. Now
मेरी बात कुछ और है, मैंने तो मोहब्बत की है.
मोहब्बत की है. हाँ ठीक है, वही है. मेरी बात कुछ और है, मैंने तो मोहब्बत की है. Okay. Then you click on OK. So results of Kaplan-Meier procedure. So we get the results. So first result come here. It is simple table that just gives me that the modern method 14 people are using, out of which 2 are censored. Traditional method 12 people are using, out of which 3 are censored. Alternative method 13 people are using, out of which 8 are censored. So this is the censored information. Now after that we get this. This is important. This is important. Why? Median, there are two things, mean and median. When to look at mean and when to look at median. Here you see total censored observation is 33%. What does it tell? Median provides better estimates if more than 20% observations are censored. So accordingly I look at the median. Now you see modern method 54. That means those who get that app-based method, they use it for 44 months on an average. Those who use the traditional method, वही जैसे से डीमैट अकाउंट खुलवा के जो करता है वो 41 मंथ सिस्टम में रहता है. और जो अल्टरनेटिव मेथड लोकल शेयर मार्केट ब्रोकर से वो 42 मंथ्स. These are close enough, but this seems to be quite high. अभी स्टेटिस्टिकल टेस्ट बाकी है. ऐसे प्राइमा फेसी एविडेंस में लग रहा है कि मॉडर्न मेथड दोनों से अच्छा है, बट स्टेटिस्टिकली सिग्निफिकेंट है कि नहीं वो चेक करना बाकी है. इसी दौरान कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज.
नंबर ऑफ इवेंट्स क्या है सर यहाँ पे सर? नंबर ऑफ इवेंट्स.
Number of events means how many complete events have been there. Yeah, 14 people are there. Out of 14 people, 12 people I have the complete information. That means I know the time of their withdrawal for 12 people. And 2 are censored. Means I ended the study, but they are yet continuing even at the last date of my study. So that is the difference between events. And 12 plus 2, 14. 9 plus 3, 12. 5 plus 8, 13. 5 मतलब ये 5 के बारे में मुझे पूरा इंफॉर्मेशन है. 8 के बारे में सेंसर्ड हो गया, मतलब आधा इंफॉर्मेशन है कि वो लोग है, आगे कब जाके खत्म होगा पता नहीं. Either I have withdrawn, either I have stopped my study, or they have withdrawn for the system. ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब शेयर में करना बंद कर दिया है, इसी कारण उनके इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिल रहा. तो जैसे उसपे एजेंसी के पास गया, एजेंसी बोल रहा है वो ट्रेड कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है पता नहीं, ड्यू टू सम रीजन, ड्यू टू सम टेक्निकल ग्लिच. These are less likely in this type of studies. Anyway, so this is the meaning. Okay, clear?
Sir, I had a query like in mean and median, what is the use like for lower bound and upper bound?
हाँ बता रहे मैडम. Now you see, if you can likely compare, so let me take up my pen. Okay. Now you see there is mean to will not continue. Mean to will not continue because for this number of censored observation are more than 20. So I will forget this. I will continue with median. Now what is lower bound and upper bound? Let us see. You see this starts at 52. Okay. Let me change the color of my pen. Safedi ka chamkar bar bar 52 to 55. Okay. So in your number line 52 and 55. Look at the second one, 32, 49. So 32 is somewhere here and 49 is somewhere here. That means if you think of the number line, say you think of the number line. So this is a 0, 1, 2 like this. If you go on, somewhere here is your 32, somewhere here is your 49, somewhere here is your 52, somewhere here is your 55. Now you see there is no overlapping between this period and this period. Similarly, there is no overlapping between this one, these two. So what does it mean? It means that modern method, since there is no overlap, so modern method is much better than the traditional method. So that's why we actually compute 95% confidence interval to roughly understand whether the difference is statistically significant or not. First I told that this difference is not statistically significant or not, that is not clear. This is 54. We understand 54 is much higher than 41, but we don't understand whether they are statistically significant or not. But now, as madam has asked and I have told, look at these bound and these bound, and then we will try to understand there is no overlapping between the bounds. 32 के बाद 49 के बाद आ रहा है 52 to 55. So there is no overlapping between them. And so these two are statistically significant differences there. But what about 42? You see 50, it is starting at 19 going up to 64. That means there is some amount of overlapping there, because for 19 के बाद 64 तक, 52 से 55. That means if this is 19, this is 64, 52, 55 somewhere here. So there is complete overlapping here. So this method, that is the alternative method, might not be significantly different from the modern method. Okay, let us look at the test also, then I think you will get a better picture. This is the test, log rank test, Breslow test and Thornworth test. And in each case, the p-value is less than 0.05. I repeat, p-value, these are the p-value. लिखा है significant, actually यही है p-value. So this p-value less than 0.05 means difference is significant. That means the three methods are not giving equal survival probabilities. Some of them are having better survival probabilities than the other. That is what I understand from this test. You may tell that if some of them are more than 0.05, some of them are less than 0.05, then what will do? At least two of them, if less than 0.05, then we will consider that the difference is significant. I repeat, out of these three tests, if at least two tests value are less than 0.05, then we will understand, we will conclude that the difference is significant. Difference of what? Difference of survival probabilities by the three methods. You can have in some cases more than three methods also. So that is the concept used over here. Now you may tell that, okay, then what is the use? Now you see, these we get the survival curve. Survival curve, this is the empirical survival curve, इसलिए step जैसा है. और वो एक लड़की का फोटो के नीचे एक मॉडल दिखाया था, उसमें ऐसा स्मूथ कार था. That is the fitted model, and this is the empirical model. Now at any instant, say at this point, let me change the color of the pen. Let me make it say violet. Okay, so violet. So so this at this point 30, a system में red में जो जाएगा alternative method will actually withdraw here. Chance of survival is only this much. For this one, that is the green one, the chance of survival, let us take a green pen, the chance of survival at age 30 goes up to this point. That means here the chance of survival is more. And what about the blue one, 30? So let us take the blue one. So blue is this. At the age of 30, blue is also till this much. So what happens? This person who will go with the alternative method, that is local broker, will withdraw from the system early. But those who are using the modern method or the traditional method, there is app based method or जैसे से जो कराते हैं, वो अभी भी continue कर रहे हैं. They are continuing. But you see, this Jayashree wala method after a particular time, no, this one green one, Jayashree wala method, after a particular time it starts coming down. But you see the modern method, that is up stocks se jo karta hai, modern method is still continuing. At this stage it starts falling. That means at any instant you can find out that which method is performing better. Till 20 months, no withdrawal from the system. So all the three methods are performing equally well till 20 months. But after 30 months, things start changing. And after 40 months, there are significant changes. Only one method survives till the end, and that is the blue one, that is the modern method. So you find that out of these three methods, modern methods is performing well. One who is going with the modern method will have more chance of survival in the system. So that is what these will take place. So थोड़ा English में भी इसको लिखना होता है. And anyways, now let us make a similar study in gender. Okay, you want to see in the database? Very good. Let me escape from this. Discard. Okay, let me show you in SPSS that financial behavioral finance. Recently used data. I did it yesterday. So behavioral finance. Okay, this data is there. So you see these are coded, censored. Code, decode, code, decode, code, decode. These are coded. Male is 1, female is 0. Treatment methods. 1 is modern, alternative method, and 2 is traditional method. So these are the codes. Decode, code, decode, code, decode, code, decode. Okay. Now I want to compare the survival time for say gender. This I had done already. What I have shown is comparing survival time across treatment. Okay. Now let us see. I want to compare gender. So what I'll do, I go to analyze, I go to survival, I go to Kaplan-Meier. Nice. Kaplan-Meier. Now I take survival time here, status here, define event has taken place 0, continue, and then okay, factor, gender. Let me take gender factor, compare factors. Okay, all tests, log rank, best flow, hardware, continue. Then options, survival tables not required, mean and median, survival. Okay, सर्वाइवल फंक्शन प्लॉट्स कंटिन्यू. बस हो गया, इतना ही, बस इतना सा जवाब है. बहुत ज्यादा कंपटीशन दे दिया, बेचारा कर रहा है, साथ में इंटरनेट भी चल रहा है. थोड़ा इसको टाइम दे दो, अभी सांस लेने की फुर्सत नहीं कि डाटा मेरी धड़कन में है. ओके, नाउ यू सी हियर वी गेट, here is the data. You see this, so you can case summary, you may ignore it. Come to here, you see female is 52 months. Kaplan-Meier estimate, you will go with median because censored observations are more than 20%, 33.3. So median 50-51. So almost at par. Male and female are at par. Log rank test, all the values more than 0.05, indicating that the null hypothesis is accepted. That means there is no significant difference. Always no significant difference in null hypothesis hota hai. So we tell that there is no significant difference between the survival function of man and woman. And you look at the curves are here, as you can see. I can change a little bit color of the curve. Here I can make it dark blue. डार्क ब्लू होता है. हाँ, हो गया डार्क ब्लू. ओके, नाउ कंपैरिजन इज. नाउ यू सी मेल एंड फीमेल, the test was telling that they are not significant difference in this period. Females have a like from 25 months to 40 months. This period female have little less probability of remaining in the system. पर जो टिक गया बाद में मेल का जैसा ही रहा. मतलब क्या है कि they will continue both male female. अब कुछ फीमेल है at some stage उनको पैसा वैसा जब ज्यादा खर्च हो जाता है, they don't get much profit. Some moment they withdraw. Some withdrawal takes place, and when men still continue, patience थोड़ा ज्यादा है मैन का फिनेंशियल मैटर्स में. ऐसा इस डेटा से प्रतीत होता है. मैंने कोई जनरलाइज कमेंट करने का हिम्मत भी नहीं है मुझे. अच्छा, so ये डेटा से यह प्रतीत होता है, we can find that at some stage the men have little bit more patience than women and they continue in the system, But women, as soon as they sense that they are not gaining money, they withdraw from the system. But those who remain, they become at par with men at the later stage. So these every story thoda अच्छा करके लिखने का. So I have shown from the same data how we can address say different treatment types, like different investment business options, different options of share market participation with help of survival card, then male-female comparison with survival card. And now if you have in your database, because this is a hypothetical data and a simple type of data, if you have other things, then you can do it in this way. Now one thing you may tell that, sir, you have taken age. नाम तो ठीक है, नाम का तो ऐसे कोई काम नहीं है, जस्ट नाम इज टू आइडेंटिफाई द इंडिविजुअल्स. नाम तो डेटाबेस में नाम जो रहता है वो बाद में एनालिसिस में कोई काम पे नहीं आता, जस्ट दे आर फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ आइडेंटिफिकेशन. इसीलिए तो लता जी कहते हैं कि नाम गुम जाएगा, चेहरा बदल जाएगा, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है, घर याद रहे. सो दैट्स व्हाई द नेम इज देयर. सो नेम, सीरियल नंबर भी ऐसे ही है. जेंडर इज इंपॉर्टेंट, ट्रीटमेंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. वी हैव डन सम वर्क विद दिस. These two are required for the analysis. Age का कोई काम में नहीं आया. अच्छा, now age can also be used. Age can also be used. But for that we require to learn about Cox proportional hazard model. Cox proportional hazard model is a regression technique which can take into care those variables which are continuous type, like say age, like say income, when the income are not grouped but we have the actual values of income, like number of family members. Those things can participate in the model and help you to find out the survival function using Cox proportional hazard model. But listen to this. ये कहानी फिर सही, हमको किसके गम में मारा. ये कहानी फिर सही, किसने तोड़ा दिल हमारा, किसने तोड़ा दिल हमारा. ये कहानी फिर सही. ये कहानी फिर सही. हाउ कॉक्स प्रोपोर्शनल हैजार्ड मॉडल कैन बी यूज्ड इन सर्वाइवल एनालिसिस. ये कहानी फिर सही, क्योंकि अगले साल भी तो क्लास लेना है, इस बार तो एक ही क्लास मिला. एनीवेज, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू. Okay, Ranjit Singh, now what is the questions, if any?
So first of all, participants, friends, if you have any question up to this, I think in between he was giving us an opportunity to ask questions. So if anyone have any
hello
question, yes, Arpita.
Yes, sir, thank you giving me the opportunity. So sir, I have one query that you are giving the information about age